Hello everybody, Chris here, and in this video I wanted to give an update on my projectile attack system. So for homing direction modifiers, allowing projectiles to home in on a target, aimed projectile attacks, which allow your attacks to launch projectiles in the direction of a game object. I've enhanced the targeting script to allow for a few different settings, which I think are pretty cool. So to get started here, we're just going to demonstrate it by hitting play here, and you'll see a couple of the changes in action. So here we have a persistent projectile, and it's targeting, at the time of release, the nearest game object with the tag player. And when that game object gets destroyed, it will select a new target and go ahead and find it and destroy that. And it will do that until there's no other targets left, in this case, game objects with the tag of player. Now that's one way you can use it. Another way would actually be to switch the timing to every time. And what this is going to mean is every time that it goes through this targeting script, it's going, in this case for homing direction modifier, that's the onUpdate mono behavior method. It's going to figure out which is the nearest object, and it's going to go ahead and set that as the new target. That doesn't always have to be the nearest object. You can also use furthest or random. So that would be a random object from any of the objects that match the condition of tag player, or furthest object, which you probably wouldn't want to use for homing, but you could use for an aimed direction attack, for instance. So let's go ahead and have it set to nearest and every time. So what this will do is, as the game objects move, it's going to switch targets to whichever one is closest at the current time. So this projectile is always going to hunt the closest projectile. Okay, now let's show another example with the aimed projectile attack. So let's switch scenes over here. In this scene, the witch has kind of a flamethrower attack, and if I recall, it's set to nearest, so the nearest game object, and we'd probably want this set to target missing, so it's going to only change game objects when the first target is destroyed. So let's go ahead and play that. So it should destroy this one over here, followed by the one down there, and the guy over here on the left. And as you can see, for the aimed projectile attack specifically, when it has no more targets left available, it just stops the coroutine for the attack entirely, so that it's not weirdly firing off attacks into nothingness. So one more script that this system does affect, and all of these are basically using something in my system called Target Hunter, but the rotate towards modifier. So this modifier rotates the game object towards a basically a target inside of your scene. So those targets can be selected with this script as well. Which means, for instance, if we did switch timing to every time, we could have it so that it will always try to face the nearest game object that matches the search term and the target method. So yeah, and you can also see, you can search by name if you'd rather not search by tag as well. So that's it for today's updates to the projectile attack system. Hope you guys like the changes to homing in the system. It should be out in the asset store as soon as the Unity team gets around to reviewing the package. Aside from that, I've been Chris, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my future videos.